Okay, so we are working on Savitch book edition 10. This is the second video for the first section. So we are talking about using the 3.1, and I already talked about the Boolean expression. Now I want to talk about the order of precedence in section 1. So you have seen this before in your math class from maybe elementary school, junior high, that they were talking about some ways of doing your order of operation. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And some people told you, some people didn't tell you, that some of these things are on the same level. So you have please for P, for parentheses, E exponent, Aunt Sally, add, and subtraction, but they are not after each other. They are in the same level. And we're going to be talking about those things, and we're going to be considering about those things. So you have those. In addition to having those, we have some that's C++ system. So we're going to be talking about all of them. Remember, computer science came from math, so a lot of these things are going to be in line totally with math. So the whole idea of this is what? If I have a higher precedence, then that operator is going to happen first. So if I have an expression and one has the higher than the other one, that higher one is going to happen first. So for example, a multiplication in here is by a star. It has a higher upper precedence than the plus. So in expression, if I have multiplication and a plus in one expression, multiplication is going to happen first. Another one for C++, we have plus to add 1. That one has the higher precedence than the multiplication. So plus is going to happen before multiplication. The second part that is coming from the math, if they have the same level of precedence, it's going to start from the left to the right. So addition and subtraction are the same level, multiplication and division are on the same level. So if I have a mixture of multiplication and division, the left one is going to happen first. It doesn't matter if it's multiplication or it's going to be division. So for example, if I have expression like x times y divided by z, the left one, because they are in the same level, was going to happen first. We have something called unary operator. Unary means one. The ones with the unary operator is going to happen first. Generally, you don't think about those things. So minus x, you think about it as a negative number. You don't say, okay, I'm going to apply this first. That's what's going to happen first. So if I have 10 and I have minus x, it's going to apply the minus to 10 first. Now your 10 becomes minus. Generally, we don't think about those things, but we got to start thinking about it in our C++ for the ones that are specific to C++, which are the plus and minus. And we talk more about these things in this chapter. So plus is adding 1, minus is subtracting 1, and of course the not. All of these things happen first. So if I have a not, it's going to happen first. And then we have multiplication, division, and percent. Remember, percent is for remainder. Then we have the addition and subtraction for the binary operator. These are the one that's going to take 2 operands. So you have 2 things. These are going to come between 2 things. Then we have less than, greater than, less than equal, greater than equal, equal, not equal, and or. So you can see the or is going to happen last. So if you have an or in your expression, it's going to happen last after and. So and is going to happen first, then or. So we have 2 ways of using this. So I'm going to put this one right there for you to remember. You might want to take a picture of it and put it somewhere for yourself. so I don't have to memorize it to remember it. So we are looking at this expression, x plus 1 greater than 2, x plus 1 less than minus 3. We have some parentheses and some operators between them. Now, this one and this one are exactly the same thing. And not only that, we have this one and that one. These are all exactly the same thing. So between I don't want to type too much versus I don't want to think about it too much, that if I'm looking at this expression, I really have to know all my precedences to know how does this work. So if I am in a statistical, mathematical office that everybody is mathematicians, and we do this every single day from morning to night, maybe it's in the back of my head. But most of us in computer science, we don't think about this every day. This is not something we do every day. So we're going to try to put the parentheses around those sections to make it easier to understand it. So one extreme from this one that doesn't have nothing versus this one that has parentheses for every single thing, maybe we can compromise and come up with something in this pattern. Remember, parentheses is going to happen first. So we kind of know that the OR is going to happen last, so I don't have to worry about it. And then we know these things is going to happen. But for the plus, and so to make this area a little more readable, I said, okay, I'm going to put parentheses around it. So it's going to make it a little easier to follow. So that means what? Of course, the minus 3 is going to happen first, but generally we don't think about it that much. So what we're going to do is we are thinking about, okay, the parentheses has to happen first. So my x plus 1 is going to happen. Whatever x is going to add 1 to it. Then, of course, I know the OR is going to happen last. So I'm going to be checking for greater than or less than. So let's say x is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, and I'm going to do it right here too. So now I have 4 over here, and I have 4 over here. So this becomes 4, that's going to become 4. 4 is 4 greater than 2? Yes, so I have a true over here. And then I have my OR. And then I had 4. Is 4 less than negative 3? No, that's going to become false. And remember, for OR, as far as one of them is true, the whole thing becomes true. So that way, by mixing up some parentheses, I don't have to think about this when I come back to this program. Or somebody else is looking at this. So that's the way we're going to be thinking about this for the order of precedence. So if we want to go through this and looking at the order of precedence, so this is going to happen, the unary minus is going to happen first. So the unary minus is right here. So that's going to happen first. Then we're going to be looking at the pluses. So remember the plus. So we are going through this. So the unary was minus, we apply that. We don't have any multiplication or division. So we're going to go to plus. So the plus is going to happen next. So this one and this one are going to happen. Then we're going to go to the less than and greater than. So we are looking at the next ones. So the less than, greater than, and less than is going to happen next. Then the OR is going to happen. So the last thing that we have, of course, in here We don't have any Boolean, equal, not equal, or and. So we're going to end up with the or, and that's the way this is going to be resolved. But again, I would add some parentheses so not only me or other people coming into this expression later on, they don't have to sit down and think about it. So just putting a parenthesis around x plus 1 is going to make it much easier. Right now we have some numbers here, but it could be some variables that can make it a little complex. Okay, so that would end the part 2 of the 3 parts for section 3.1, and that is going to end this section.